My son's mom moving to Atlanta was supposed to make life easier. I'd be able to pursue my career and he'd have both parents within a few miles of one another, but the recent changes to my parenting schedule have made it nearly impossible for me to work. And on top of the stress, I recently caught my son doing the unthinkable. I woke up this morning and I was just about to start making breakfast, and then I remembered that yesterday I told him I'm not making him breakfast today because it has been incredibly frustrating to watch him slowly eat breakfast over the course of like 45 minutes, only to eventually say he's not hungry and try to throw it away. I kind of lost it. I was like, you know what? No more. You make your own breakfast tomorrow. So everybody has kids, everybody figures it out. So I don't want to make it seem like my situation is just so extreme. I think the stress of like trying to figure out work stuff, trying to figure out like a sitter, because I need to get him a sitter, trying to figure out Christmas and finances, like it's getting real. Just knowing things are pretty much slowed down for the next month, uh, it has me a bit anxious as I look forward into 2025. In full disclosure, I actually just lost a big job that I was expecting to have for next year. So that has definitely shaken me up a bit because that job was going to be security, and losing my security blanket, if you will, makes it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit on me. Losing my security is terrifying. As a creative entrepreneur, there's no guarantees, and this was about as close to a sure thing as you can get. So I am devastated, but I'm not going to let it ruin the season. You guys are awful. Are you?
Never thought this day would come taller than you.
Well, it's here. Why? Howdy. I'm so glad to be done with that sofa review. I've been working on that thing for 2 weeks, and I'm so happy to finally close that file out and upload the video. I'm trying to get some Christmas shopping done. I really told myself I was going to get on this earlier because my kid loves all these things that you cannot find here, like in America. I've ordered quite a few, but I'm trying to get more of it done today. That way, as we get closer to the end of the holiday season, if there's anything last minute I want to get, I can just run to the store and get it. And I just ran to Target and I saw they have PS5 controllers on sale. So I'm gonna go buy one of those for myself. Work usually slows down during the holidays anyway, so this was mostly expected, but I was sure I'd have something to look forward to at the top of the new year. So rather than gearing up for another long run, I've been trying my hardest not to think about what's next. So right now my parenting schedule is like indefinite. So I don't know how I'm going to work. I got a call this morning, or I got a text this morning about a job in a few days, and I need to take it, but I don't know how I'm going to pull it off. I need to figure out a childcare situation. And kind of the thing that, I guess the big challenge that I ended up having during my divorce and because of my work schedule was like childcare providers want to have like a client. They want to know that you're going to be there every single day so they can kind of guarantee their income. They can take up that space and have it reserved for you. But with my work, that's not what it was. So I ended up often overpaying to keep somebody on ice for an entire week when if I'm available, I'm going to have my son. I'm not going to send him to childcare if I don't need it to be there. He's getting older, not quite old enough to stay by himself. And I'm trying to build a network, and it's actually been a lot harder than I thought it would be. One thing that content creators have been pretty good about keeping to themselves is how difficult it is to vlog in a coffee shop these days because these tables are tiny. Like, I have my iPad out, I got the camera out. There's just not enough room to even have a coffee at this point. I think one of the bigger challenges that I have, particularly being new to the area, is like networking. And I've managed to meet some new people, and that's created opportunities. But the thing is, if I have to turn down a job because it doesn't fit my parenting schedule, it makes, maintaining that relationship pretty difficult. So I really want to try to make this one work. So I'm just going to have to figure out how to make it happen. I think it works out, fortunately, that it's on a weekend. Maybe that'll increase the likelihood that I'll be able to have, it be covered, particularly because I don't want to lose this relationship. And, you pass on 3-4 jobs in a row, people stop hitting you up. And that's exactly what happened. I lost a job because I couldn't find a sitter. There's been moments since my divorce where I've wondered if I'm even capable of doing it all by myself. Honestly, situations way darker than this. And in times like these, I have to remember that I've done this before. Enough.
2 hours. You got 2 people. I'll be at school.
So what you're telling me is I'll be solo, so it's going to be harder. Yes, everything is harder by yourself. But what they don't tell you is sometimes it's a little bit more satisfying.
I'll be building whole dioramas by myself. I'll build whole action figures by myself. This conversation don't have nothing to do with me. I'm good.
I never thought about that. You're an only child. I'm an only dad. That's all we need.
Each other.
He's right. It's not about him. He's so much smarter than I was at his age. I like things that are brass with little holes in them because they're great for passing light through. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
If you're Batman hates light.
I was born in the shadows.
You were badly raised in it.
Alright. Night. Love you. Smell good. Let me get the good soap. Alright, go to bed, buddy. You're late. Love you.
Marcus. Okay, I love you, Dad.
Love you, Sonny.
Good night.
For breakfast, what would you like? I just had this entire, 7-minute soliloquy in the shower, and I cannot remember at all what I said. It was something about money. I make too much money. When I was a starving artist, when I was trying to figure it out, I was coming up, I didn't make very much money. And that was the time when I thought I was the freest. It's very difficult to go back. And while I'm definitely not rich by any stretch of the imagination, especially after my divorce, I have a certain standard of things that I kind of want to get back to. Oh, I know what it was. I was thinking about how my last video is pretty much a product review and there's no real content for me, but it's the video that I needed to make as part of a chain of actions that will allow me to get to the point where I can create freely. I think a lot of people don't understand that from the outside because they think, oh, well, you're making art, you should be able to do whatever you want. But that's not how it works, especially if you have obligations, you have dreams and goals and aspirations, and you maybe want to retire one day, which I do. And I'm probably a lot closer to retirement than most of you. As a result, I'm going to do things that are going to benefit me financially and express myself artistically. The goal is to get to the point where you have infinite money. And when you have infinite money, you can do whatever you want. The losses are all yours. You're taking all the financial responsibility, and that's great. But it's also not very realistic for most people. Most of us are going to have to work in some capacity. And in order to reach the point one day where you have enough money to stop working, you're going to have to do something for someone else in order to get money. And I don't want anyone to ever feel bad about that. Part of internet culture these days is ruining that, because creators are made to feel like terrible people because they sell something to their audience, or because they want to make a profit, because what you're doing, art, does not seem like actual work. And the reality is, it is very much work. In fact, I probably work harder making a YouTube video than I do client projects that have paid me thousands upon thousands of dollars. And why is that? Well, that's because those are labors of love. I enjoy every single moment, every single click that I put into shooting a YouTube video. However, they don't pay money. So if for a split second I have to step away from that and do something that actually, feeds my family, I will never feel guilty about that. And I think on the outside looking in, people will make you feel bad about that, and you shouldn't. If you are a creator, you should never feel bad about doing what you have to do to take care of yourself. One of my biggest challenges now is that I've seen how differently I can live when I make money. And it's not a matter of like I have more stuff or I go on more vacations. No, it's just a level of security that allows me to say no to so many different things in my life. Over the last few years, I've made significantly more money, and that allowed me to say no to so much that I didn't realize just exactly how much stuff I was doing that I didn't want to do. And because of that, I was able to put the real effort into making the things I want to make. The goal is to be able to have this serve me financially as well. If I'm able to have an advertiser invest in me so that I can do something for them while I continue to make the majority of my content for me and my audience. When I was starting out, I probably didn't even understand that concept, but now I get it. I have no interest in being a starving artist. I want to create meaningful work, and I want to get paid for it. Still not as good as what I thought of in the shower. So last night, my son did the unthinkable. He snuck into my room to look at his Christmas presents. If I was still married, probably not a big deal. But being divorced and going back and forth between different homes, and then, he still has to go and deal with teachers in school. Every little thing is magnified. And maybe it's just to me. Maybe I'm completely off base on this. Because I did things similar to this when I was a kid. And then I think as a parent, personally, I will try to go back and replay that situation and figure out how did that manifest itself later in life. And I don't know. How can I trust him to be left alone in any capacity if I can't trust him to go to my room without looking through my closet? And when you say it that way, then you start to see where you can get in trouble. I worry. And maybe it's an irrational fear. Maybe it's not that big a deal, but maybe other parents who are looking at their kids behind bars are thinking, man, if we had caught this early, maybe we wouldn't be having this situation right now. I don't know when it goes from being cute to being concerning to being criminal. It's hard to punish your kid for being a kid. And it's hard for them to often understand why you're reacting the way you're reacting, why you're so upset. I hate that Christmas presents can bring out such a dark thought. But that's always what I'm thinking about. Every mistake, every time my kid doesn't listen to his teacher, every time I tell him to go wash the dishes and he's in there singing and dancing instead of doing that. Like, I want my kid to be a kid. But I just see way too many examples where some kids aren't allowed to do that. Today, I'm going to just take it all the way back, and I'm going to be fun dad. But I'm also going to explain. Having my trust is important, and it becomes more important as he gets older and as he wants more responsibility. And if he ever wants to get to the point where he has independence, he's got to show me that he knows the rules and that he follows them, even if he doesn't think he'll get caught. You got to trust your kids. But I guess you never know if you can until you give them an opportunity to prove it. Because there's only 2 of us, all these recipes are for like 50 people. So I got to cut everything in half. Grab that vinegar right here off the shelf. Open it up. Just put a little drop in there. Rewind this video a little bit. I need you again. Take that baking powder and close it up. It's on the counter.
Yes?
Yeah, sure.
It's like making bread.
Why'd you touch the inside of the oven? There was a moment when he was trying to pick up a biscuit, but didn't want to get his hands dirty. And I reminded him that you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And in that moment, I thought about parenthood. It's messy, imperfect, mistakes will be made. But if you're in the game, if you're a parent, that's just the reality. It's my job to be present, clean up the mess, and as long as I put in as many of the right ingredients as possible, I should be proud of the results. Today, I really want to see if there's any hope for this palm. I've watched a bunch of videos that say it's probably going to die when the weather changes, so I'll do my best, but I also want to propagate some pothos. It's one of those plants that is hard to kill, and even if they get overgrown, you can just regrow the roots and make a new plant pretty easily. We're days away from winter, but I'm thinking about spring. Spring is the season about new life and opportunity, and I think it'd be nice to have something to look forward to. When I was going through my separation, I started gardening, and I'm not even sure why, but I really fell in love with watching things grow, and I love the idea of being surrounded by more life. So yeah, my son did the unthinkable. The problem is, what was unthinkable to me was probably not that big of a deal, and mostly it was because of the stress that I was under this week. Gardening just reminded me about all the different opportunities that I have, and honestly, I've gotten kind of complacent over the last few years. I've made significantly more money, and mostly it was doing one thing. And coming into creative entrepreneurship, I was doing a lot of different stuff, always trying to make a buck, and it was nice to finally not have to chase things. The problem is I don't feel in control. I don't know why I've been so blessed, and as a result, I'm always wondering when my luck is finally going to run out. So I've decided to take more control going forward. I'd actually forgotten that one of the reasons why I returned to vlogging was because I wanted to learn how to edit videos. I haven't edited a project for a client in several years, and as a result, I'm pretty rusty. But I'm hoping to kind of get there and eventually get to the point where I have the skills to be able to go out and shoot smaller client projects in addition to the mainstream work I'm already doing. That'll give me another small source of income that I can use. That way I can still maintain the flexibility that I have and that I need in order to be there for my son, as well as be available to take my regular work. I don't really want to have to get a sitter, but I feel like I'm going to have to find somebody that I can rely on so that it can kind of relieve the stress for times when I'm running a little bit late because I'm coming from the other side of town. I need somebody to maybe just pick them up or to cover me when I have these last minute jobs on weekends. Now, those don't happen too often, but every once in a while, if there's an opportunity, I'd like to take it. I'm not interested in taking a step back financially, and I've got some pretty lofty goals coming up for next year. So diversifying things and finding other avenues to make money is definitely going to help me to relieve any kind of financial stress that I'm feeling, and hopefully also give me like a sense of security that just doesn't really exist. Not to mention, I'm also building this channel in a way that's going to allow me to bring in sponsors, which is something I really haven't ever done on this channel before, but it's part of the plan. I want to build something special, and in order to have the incentive to continue to do it, I think it is important for me to really think about the financial component, which is something that on this channel I've never really considered. Definitely am not interested in compromising my brand or my product for a brand or sponsorship or anything, which is why I don't ever want to rely on YouTube. But I think that the more options that I have, the more security that I have, the less I have to lean on any one thing. And I think that puts me in the best position to really be able to do things on my own terms. You know, I don't want to sacrifice the time that I have with my son for work or vice versa. I just want to figure out how to make it work, and I'm pretty confident that I can. This channel is Aaron Reactivated. I make content following my journey as a recently divorced single dad and creative entrepreneur. If you want to continue on this journey with me, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.